Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have a real treasure to talk about, one that might just be hiding in your collection. Yes, you guessed it, we're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1966. This seemingly ordinary coin could be worth way more than you might expect. Stick with us to discover the shocking value of this little gem, and you'll be amazed at what it could be worth today. Now, when you think of a 1-cent coin, you might imagine a coin that's practically worthless, often discarded or left at the bottom of your pocket. But here's the thing, the 1966 1-cent coin is far from ordinary. This small piece of currency has a fascinating history and a surprising value that many collectors are eager to get their hands on. So, let's take a journey through the history, design, rarity, and ultimate value of the 1966 United States 1-cent coin. Let's begin by looking back at the year 1966. It was a time of social change, political upheaval, and significant events in the United States. The country was in the midst of the Vietnam War, and the civil rights movement was gaining momentum. These years were transformative in many ways, and the coinage from this period is a reflection of that turbulent time. The 1966 1-cent coin, which was produced by the U.S. Mint, is made of copper and features the iconic design that we've come to associate with the penny. On the obverse, you'll find the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most beloved presidents in U.S. history. This image has been on the U.S. penny since 1909, and it's a design that continues to be one of the most recognizable symbols of American currency. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite the 1-cent coin being produced in large numbers, some of these 1966 pennies have something special that makes them stand out. Before we get into the value, let's talk about the design and how it relates to the story behind the 1966 coin. On the reverse side, you'll find the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of unity and strength for the American people. But what makes this coin unique, and why is it so sought after by collectors, is the fact that a small number of these pennies were minted with a rare feature that sets them apart from the majority of others. You see, during the minting process of the 1966 penny, a rare error occurred. Some of the 1-cent coins were produced with a double die feature, meaning that the design was struck twice during the minting process, which caused certain parts of the coin to appear slightly doubled or misaligned. This error is incredibly rare, and it's what makes certain 1966 pennies highly valuable. The double die feature is a sought-after characteristic among collectors, as it's a clear sign that the coin has a unique history and isn't just a regular, mass-produced penny. Now, you might be wondering, how much could a 1966 penny like this actually be worth? Well, the value of these coins depends largely on their condition. Most 1966 pennies that were used in everyday circulation are worth only a few cents, but that's not the case for those rare, error-struck pieces. A 1966 1-cent coin in excellent condition, especially with the double die error, can fetch an impressive amount of money. In fact, some of these rare coins have been known to sell for astronomical prices in auctions and private sales. Are you ready for the big reveal? Hold on to your seats, because here it comes. If you have one of these 1966 pennies in near-perfect, error-free condition, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Some of the highest-selling 1966 1-cent coins with the double die error have been known to go for as much as $76,000. That's right, $76,000. That's a staggering amount for a coin that was once thought of as nothing more than pocket change. So, the next time you're going through your old pennies, make sure to keep an eye out for any 1966 coins with unique features or errors. Who knows? You might just have a rare gem in your collection worth far more than you ever expected. Top 2. We're going to talk about a coin that might be hiding in your collection right now, a coin that could change your financial future. Yes, we're diving into the fascinating world of the United States 1-cent coin from 1971. Now, you might be thinking, a penny from 1971? What could it possibly be worth? Well, sit tight, because this little coin might be worth far more than you expect. By the end of this video, you'll be amazed at just how much a single 1-cent coin from 1971 could be worth today. Before we get into the incredible value of the 1971 1-cent coin, let's take a step back and explore the history behind it. The year 1971 was an interesting one in the US and the world. It was the year that the US officially ended the gold standard under President Richard Nixon, which marked a significant turning point in global finance. It was also a time when America was making huge strides in science and technology, with the space race still in full swing, and the country was experiencing great social change. But what does all this have to do with a penny? Well, coins from this period reflect the spirit of the time, and the 1971 1 cent is no exception. Produced by the U.S. Mint in 1971, the coin features the classic design we've come to recognize, the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, facing to the right. Since its introduction in 1909, this portrait has symbolized the strength and unity of the United States. But while this design has remained mostly unchanged, it's the back of the coin that holds some of the intrigue when it comes to 1971 pennies. On the reverse side of the coin, we see the familiar image of the Lincoln Memorial, a structure that symbolizes both American history and national unity. However, not all 1971 pennies are created equal. While many of these coins were produced and circulated in the normal way, some were struck with an unusual minting error, and this is where the story gets really interesting. As we all know, mistakes can happen during the minting process, and sometimes those mistakes can lead to incredibly rare and valuable coins. In the case of the 1971 penny, a small number of them were struck with what's known as the double die error. This means that during the minting process, the design was struck twice, leading to slight doubling in parts of the coin. It's a subtle effect, but collectors know it when they see it, and these double die error coins are highly sought after in the world of numismatics. What makes these double die error coins so special? Well, they're rare, for starters. While the U.S. Mint produced millions of 1-cent coins in 1971, very few came out with this unique error. Finding one of these pennies in good condition is a major accomplishment, and it could be worth far more than you might think. The reason collectors go crazy for them is simple: errors like these make the coin a one-of-a-kind piece of history. Now, you're probably wondering, how much can a 1971 penny with a doubled die error really be worth? Well, depending on its condition, this error coin can fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. A 1971 penny with a noticeable double die error in near-mint condition can be worth a small fortune. It's not just a matter of a few dollars, we're talking about a coin that has been sold for an astonishing price in certain auctions. Ready for the big reveal? Hold on tight, because here it comes. A rare, well-preserved 1971 penny with the double die error can sell for as much as $72,000. Yes, you heard that right. $72,000 for a single penny. That's an unbelievable amount for a coin that many people dismiss as just pocket change. So, if you happen to have a 1971 penny tucked away in your collection, it's definitely worth taking a closer look to see if it's one of those rare error coins. Who knew that a simple penny from 1971 could hold such immense value? So, the next time you're digging through your change or sorting through old pennies, don't just toss that 1971 coin aside. It might be worth a lot more than you think. If you happen to find one of these rare error coins, you could be holding a piece of history that's worth a small fortune. Top 3. We're uncovering the fascinating world of the United States 1-cent coin from 1963. If you thought pennies were just pennies, think again. This small piece of copper could be worth a whole lot more than its face value. Trust me, you'll want to stay tuned until the end to discover just how much a 1963 penny could be worth in today's market. Before we get into the big reveal, let's take a quick look at what was happening in 1963. It was a pivotal year in American history, with significant cultural, political, and technological shifts. In fact, just a few months before the 1963 penny was minted, the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy left the nation in mourning. But while the country was facing great turmoil, coins like the 1963 penny were still being produced and circulated as symbols of the economy moving forward. The design of this coin, and the way it was minted, tells a story about a nation in transition. Now, let's talk about the design of the 1963 penny. On the front, we find the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which has graced the penny since 1909. This well-known image is a tribute to the 16th President of the United States and has become one of the most recognizable symbols of American currency. But while the design has remained relatively unchanged over the years, the back of the coin has a unique place in history that makes the 1963 penny so interesting. On the reverse side, you'll see the classic image of the Lincoln Memorial, which has appeared on U.S. pennies since 1959. This stunning structure symbolizes both American history and unity, and it was chosen as the perfect design to represent Lincoln's legacy. But the story doesn't end there. It's important to note that not all 1963 pennies are created equal. While most of these pennies were produced in large quantities and used in everyday transactions, some of them were struck with rare errors that make them incredibly valuable to collectors today. So, what kind of error are we talking about here? Well, as with many other valuable coins, there was a small chance that some 1963 pennies were produced with minting mistakes. One of the most sought-after variations involves the so-called double die error, which happens when the die used to strike the design on the coin is misaligned. This leads to a doubling effect in certain parts of the design, making the coin look slightly off. For collectors, finding a coin with a double die error is like discovering a hidden gem. These coins are incredibly rare and often command a premium price at auctions and coin dealers, but the appeal of the 1963 penny doesn't stop there. The condition of the coin also plays a huge role in its value. While most 1963 pennies are relatively easy to come by, those that have been well preserved or kept in mint condition are much harder to find. Coins that have been carefully stored away, protected from wear and tear, and remain free from damage are significantly more valuable than those that have been used in everyday circulation. So if you happen to have a 1963 penny that looks nearly brand new, you could be sitting on a valuable treasure. Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for, the value of the 1963 penny. Are you ready for it? Depending on the rarity, condition, and any minting errors, a single 1963 penny can be worth a surprising amount of money. Some rare 1963 pennies with double die errors or those in uncirculated condition have been known to fetch astronomical prices. And when I say astronomical, I mean it. If you have one of these rare coins, it could be worth as much as $79,000. That's right, $79,000 for a single penny. It's almost hard to believe, but it's true. So, what does that mean for you? Well, the next time you're sifting through your spare change or going through your old coin collection, take a moment to really inspect those 1963 pennies. If you find one with a unique error or in perfect condition, you could be holding onto a piece of history worth a small fortune. You just might be the lucky owner of one of these rare and valuable coins. Top 4. We're diving into the world of the United States 1-cent coin from 1961. You may think it's just another penny, but wait until you hear about the rare, hidden gems that could be lurking in your collection. Trust me, you won't want to miss this, because by the end of this video, you'll know just how much a single 1961 penny could be worth. Let's set the stage with a quick look at what was happening in the United States back in 1961. It was an important year in American history, marked by change and progress. The country was in the middle of the Cold War, and President John F. Kennedy had just taken office, inspiring the nation with his vision of a new frontier. Meanwhile, the world was watching the space race intensify, and American society was shifting in many ways. In the midst of all this, the U.S. Mint was busy producing coins, including the humble 1-cent coin, which would go on to become a valuable piece of history for collectors. The 1961 penny is part of the long-standing tradition of the U.S. Mint, which has been producing this small but mighty coin since 1909. The obverse of the 1961 penny features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has been a staple of the U.S. 1-cent coin for over a century. This image of Lincoln, one of the country's most revered presidents, has become a symbol of strength, unity, and freedom, which is why it remains on the penny to this day. On the reverse side, we find the Lincoln Memorial, another powerful symbol that represents the ideals of freedom and democracy in the United States. This design, which has been used on the back of the penny since 1959, is a fitting tribute to Lincoln's legacy, and it's a design that connects the nation's past with its present. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1961 penny so special? After all, millions of these coins were minted and circulated, so what sets this particular year apart? Well, there's one key factor that can make a 1961 penny incredibly valuable to collectors: the condition of the coin. You see, while most pennies from this era were used in everyday transactions, some of them were kept in pristine condition and others were struck with rare minting errors. These errors are what make certain 1961 pennies incredibly desirable to collectors and can cause their value to skyrocket. One of the most valuable errors that can be found on a 1961 penny is the double die error. This happens when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to appear doubled. It's a subtle but noticeable feature, and collectors prize these coins because they are incredibly rare. If you happen to find a 1961 penny with a double die error, it could be worth a significant amount of money, especially if it's in near mint or mint condition, but that's not all. The 1961 penny can also become valuable depending on its overall condition. Most pennies from this time period were heavily circulated, which means they've been worn down over time. However, coins that have been carefully preserved and kept in excellent shape can command much higher prices. An uncirculated or almost perfect 1961 penny, even without a minting error, could be worth a surprising amount. It's all about how well the coin has been taken care of over the years. Now, let's talk about the moment you've been waiting for: how much could a 1961 penny really be worth? If you have a 1961 penny that is in perfect condition or one that features a rare double die error, you could be holding onto a piece of history worth a serious amount of money. The highest prices for these coins have reached some jaw-dropping amounts in recent years. Are you ready for the big reveal? Hold on tight, because the value of a rare 1961 penny can reach as high as $75,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $75,000 for a single penny. It's truly incredible to think that something so small and unassuming could hold such value, but in the world of coin collecting, rare finds like these can be worth a fortune. So, the next time you're going through your old coins or sorting through change, take a closer look at those 1961 pennies. If you happen to find one that's in pristine condition or one with a double die error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Coins like these don't come around every day, so it's worth doing a bit of extra inspection to see if you found a hidden treasure. Top 5. We're talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1979. You may think it's just another penny, but stick with me until the end and you'll be amazed at just how much this little coin could be worth in today's market. First, let's take a quick stroll back to 1979. It was a year of change and innovation in the U.S. President Jimmy Carter was in office, and the nation was facing some economic challenges, including rising inflation and energy shortages. It was also a time when the country was recovering from the turbulence of the 1960s and 1970s, and people were adjusting to the new realities of life in the modern world. And while all this was happening, the U.S. Mint was busy making coins, including the 1-cent coin, which would later turn out to be more valuable than most people realized. The design of the 1979 penny was the same as it had been for decades. On the obverse side, you'll find the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This image, designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, has adorned the penny since 1909 and continues to be one of the most iconic depictions of any American president. Lincoln represents the unity, strength, and resilience of the nation, making his image the perfect choice for the penny. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see the familiar Lincoln Memorial, which has appeared on the back of the penny since 1959. This design honors Lincoln's legacy and reminds us of the country's enduring principles of freedom and democracy. The coin may be small, but its symbolism is anything but. However, there's more to the 1979 penny than just its classic design. In fact, 1979 was a year where something rare and interesting occurred at the US Mint. While most 1979 pennies were struck with no issues, a small number of them were struck with a significant error. This error has become the holy grail for coin collectors. The error I'm talking about is the wide AM variety on the reverse side of the coin, which refers to the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse. On most 1979 pennies, the letters are closer together, but some were struck with a noticeable gap between the two letters. This wide AM variety is extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. Why is this so important? Well, minting errors like these are what make certain coins incredibly valuable. It's the rarity of these mistakes, combined with the historical context and demand from collectors, that can lead to some seriously high prices. A coin that was supposed to be a regular, everyday penny suddenly becomes a unique piece of history with a mistake that makes it stand out from the rest. If you're wondering just how much a 1979 wide AM penny could be worth, get ready for the big reveal. A rare, high-quality 1979 penny with the wide AM error in mint condition has been known to sell for an astonishing amount. In fact, this error coin can be worth as much as $65,000. Yes, you heard that right, $65,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that such a small coin could fetch such a huge price, but that's the power of rare minting errors and the passion of collectors who are always on the lookout for these hidden gems. So, if you have any 1979 pennies lying around in your collection or scattered in your coin jar, it's worth taking a close look at them. If you spot that wide gap between the A and M on the reverse, you may be holding on to something much more valuable than you initially thought. Even if you don't find the error, a well-preserved 1979 penny can still be worth more than you might expect, especially if it's in mint condition. Top 6. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the United States 1-cent coin from 1972. Most people think pennies are just small change, but you'd be amazed at the potential value some of them hold. Stick around until the end because you're going to want to hear just how much a 1972 penny could be worth. Let's first set the stage by looking back at 1972. It was a year of significant change in the United States. The country was in the midst of the Vietnam War, and the political landscape was buzzing with energy as the Watergate scandal was beginning to unfold. At the same time, American society was experiencing a cultural shift, with music, art, and fashion all evolving in exciting ways. In the midst of all this, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of pennies, including the 1972 1-cent coin, which would go on to become a highly collectible piece of American history. The 1972 penny features the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the front, as it has since 1909. This familiar portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner, is a tribute to one of the most influential presidents in U.S. history. Lincoln's image has become synonymous with freedom, unity, and the enduring strength of the American people. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, which was first introduced in 1959. This design symbolizes the values of democracy and liberty, serving as a fitting tribute to President Lincoln's legacy. But here's the twist: although the 1972 penny might seem like just another routine piece of U.S. currency, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. You see, some 1972 pennies were struck with a rare and valuable error, and it's this very error that has caused the 1972 penny to gain significant attention from collectors. What makes the 1972 penny so special in the world of numismatics? It's a minting error known as the double die variety. This error occurs when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin is misaligned during the minting process. As a result, the image on the coin appears to be doubled, with some of the design elements being clearly more visible and shifted. The double die error is particularly noticeable on the obverse side of the 1972 penny, where you can clearly see the doubling in the inscriptions, such as the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." This error is incredibly rare, and finding a 1972 penny with this kind of doubled die can be an exciting discovery for coin collectors. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin becomes. In fact, some of the most well-preserved examples of the 1972 double die penny have sold for astronomical prices at auctions, with collectors willing to pay top dollar to add one to their collections, but the value doesn't stop there. The condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its worth. Most of the 1972 pennies that were minted are not in great condition. They've been used in circulation for decades, meaning they've likely picked up scratches, dings, and signs of wear. However, if you happen to find a 1972 penny that has been carefully preserved, kept in mint condition, or stored away in a safe place, its value can be far higher than you might expect. Now, it's time to reveal the big question: how much is a rare, well-preserved 1972 penny really worth? You may be sitting on a small fortune, especially if you've got one with a double die error or in exceptional condition. The value of these rare coins can skyrocket, and depending on the coin's rarity, condition, and demand, the price can reach staggering amounts. Ready for the reveal? If you have a 1972 penny with a double die error in uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a value of $67,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $67,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but the world of rare coins is full of surprises like this. So, what should you do with this newfound knowledge? The next time you're sorting through your coin collection, make sure to take a closer look at any 1972 pennies you come across. Inspect them carefully for any signs of a double die error, and if the coin is in pristine condition, you may just have a rare treasure in your hands. Top 7 and last, we're going to talk about the United States 1-cent coin from 1970. You might think it's just another old penny, but trust me, this one has some serious value in the world of coin collecting. Stick around until the end because you're going to be amazed at how much this tiny coin could be worth today. Let's take a quick trip back to 1970. It was a time of major cultural change in America. The country was in the midst of the Vietnam War, and the civil rights movement was gaining even more traction. It was a year filled with political turbulence, but it was also a year of progress and change, as Americans were looking ahead to a brighter future. While all of this was happening, the U.S. Mint was hard at work, producing coins for the masses, including the 1970 penny. The design on the 1970 penny is the same as it has been for decades. On the front, we have the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This image has graced the penny since 1909, and it represents the enduring legacy of Lincoln's leadership and his role in shaping the United States. On the back of the coin, you'll find the familiar Lincoln Memorial, which has been the reverse design since 1959. This monument is a tribute to Lincoln's lasting impact on the nation and serves as a reminder of the ideals of liberty, democracy, and unity. But don't be fooled by its classic design. There's more to the 1970 penny than meets the eye. While it may appear like just another penny from that year, it has become a favorite among coin collectors. The value of a 1970 penny isn't in its design alone. It lies in a rare mistake that was made during the minting process. Let's talk about that mistake. The 1970 penny is known for a rare and highly sought-after error, the 1970 small date penny. If you're wondering what makes this so special, here's the scoop. In 1970, the U.S. Mint produced two different versions of the penny. One version features a larger date, and the other features a smaller date. The smaller date variety, marked with an S mint mark, is the rare and valuable one. It's a result of a change in the die used to strike the coin, and as a result, a limited number of these small date pennies were produced. Now, why is the 1970 small date penny so important? As with many rare coins, it's the scarcity that drives up its value. There weren't a lot of these small date pennies made, and the ones that survived in good condition are highly prized by collectors. Minting errors like these are what make the world of numismatics so exciting. A coin that was intended to be just a regular penny ends up becoming a rare and valuable piece of history, but, as always, condition is key. Most 1970s small date pennies have been circulated for decades, meaning they've likely been worn down by time and use. However, if you happen to find one that's in excellent or even near mint condition, its value could be far higher than you might think. Coins that have been preserved and kept in good shape over the years can sell for significantly more than coins that are heavily worn. So, now you're probably wondering, just how much can a 1970s small date penny actually be worth? If you've got a penny in pristine condition, you're in for an exciting surprise. The value of these rare coins can rise dramatically depending on their condition and rarity. In fact, a well-preserved 1970s small date penny can be worth as much as $61,000. That's right, $61,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe that a coin so small could fetch such a huge price, but that's the magic of rare minting errors. If you think you might have one of these rare 1970s small date pennies hiding in your collection or among your spare change, now is the time to take a closer look. Carefully examine the date on the coin. If you notice a smaller, more compact number, congratulations, you might just have a treasure worth thousands of dollars. As you continue your search for rare and valuable coins, remember that even the smallest penny can hold massive value if it has the right characteristics. Coins like the 1970s small date penny are the perfect example of how a little piece of history can turn into a small fortune. So, if you enjoyed learning about this rare 1970 penny and want to stay on top of the latest coin discoveries, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos. You never know, your next coin could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting.